talks between Air Canada and the Flight Attendants Union have stalled just hours before a strike notice deadline. 10,000 flight attendants could walk off the job by the weekend if an agreement is not reached. Michelle Gassoub has been on top of this story for us this week. So, Michelle, that deadline fast approaching to know whether they're going to be in strike position or not. Where do things stand at this point?
Well, it's a bit hard to say because Air Canada said today they feel that both sides are at an impasse. They are simply too far apart to come to an agreement. They proposed going to binding arbitration, which would have brought in a third-party mediator to come up with a solution and avoid a strike or lockout. The union has rejected that, saying the best deals come from negotiating, and the union says they don't feel like they are at an impasse. Take a listen to some of what they had to say.
Currently, we're not in an impasse. Like I said, we've gone back with a wage proposal. So assuming we hear back, we're not at an impasse, but I guess that will tell on how they reply to that.
So two different views of where these two parties stand. They have until 12:01 a.m. Eastern Time on Wednesday to issue 72-hour strike notice, and a strike could begin as early as Saturday.
You mentioned, Michelle, that the two sides are far apart. What are the sticking points at this stage?
There are two main sticking points to keep in mind. One is wages, because they have been locked into a 10-year contract. They say their wages have not kept up with inflation. And the second is the issue of ground pay, because the union says under the current pay structure, flight attendants are not being paid for the work they do prior to a flight and after. They say, Air Canada says that the proposal they are putting forward would make Air Canada flight attendants the best paid in Canada. The union is very much disputing that. Union also wants that ground work to be 100% paid. They say the current Air Canada proposal is at 50%. That is a pretty big divide to try to bridge with just a few hours left before that 72-hour strike notice would need to be issued.
Okay, so for travelers who might be pretty affected, pretty concerned, when are we going to see cancellations? Any advice for travelers out there? So
cancellations could start on the 16th. But Air Canada has given some new information just moments ago. If you are traveling between the 15th and 18th, you are able to change your flight for free to a flight between August 21st and September 21st. Now, Air Canada also has an obligation to help you rebook on another airline if your flight is cancelled. Take a listen to them explaining that rule.
If we go into a disruption, we have agreements with more than 100 airlines to try to find seats to protect our customers. Now, we have to be conscious, of course, that at this time of the year, there are very little seats available. So for those for whom we won't be able to find seats, then we'll refund or give them the opportunity to travel later.
Of course, a difficult time to rebook, given it is that high summer season, lots of people traveling. Another two things to keep in mind if you are traveling in the next little while, check your booking, because if you are traveling with Air Canada, Rouge or PAL Airlines, which operates on the East Coast, Air Canada is going to be bringing in additional aircrew from a third party to keep those flights running. That's around 20% of their flights, so good news for folks who have those bookings. The other 80% will be impacted, and Natasha, that is 130,000 potential passengers.
Yikes, a lot of us are going to be watching. Thanks so much, Michelle.
Thanks.